she had made a blind script deal with HBO. I had seen Tiny Furniture and was completely obsessed with it. And she needed a supervisor and a showrunner, and so they came to me knowing that I was so obsessed with Tiny Furniture, and we talked on the phone and fell in love. She was like staying at my house 2 weeks later. So very, very early on, when it was still, they didn't even know what the show was. When we're doing the writing, we're usually all together. When we're doing the beating out of the series. And we have a very small staff that helps us with that. But when we did the pilot, Lena really wrote it on her own, and there were big ideas from, Judd's the one who said, what if her parents cut her off? Like, just story ideas and things that came to us through that way, and then we all punched it up together. The pilot was really just the three of us, which was really fun. And then as we go into series, it depends on Judd's schedule. He was making a movie last year, so he comes when he can, but he's very, very involved in post and prep and the writing. And it's also really great to have a set of eyes that is, not there all the time, because he has a brilliant perspective anyway, but it's really nice when he hasn't been around for a while and can see things that we don't see. Well, my role has just been to be sort of Lena's other half this whole time. She came with a very, very clear voice, had already made Tiny Furniture, really knew what she was doing creatively, but had never done television before. So it was just my job to show her how to do television. And then I got to learn from her this whole time too. Different ways to write and different points of view and ways to look at things. It's the first time in my life I've wanted to be a director because of her, or even thought about it. And so it just depends on what part of production we're in. When we're writing, I'm reading scripts and giving notes or blocking out outlines. When we're shooting, I'm sitting next to Lena during rehearsals and during shooting and giving jokes here and there, or points of view, especially when she's in the scene. I'm just another set of eyes. And I'm on the phone with the network, and I do marketing and sort of every part of it. I think waitressing taught me the most. And I was like a really good waitress. And it's the only thing I'll brag about. And I was a very good waitress, and it taught me how to communicate with people, but also how to balance things. To be able to say to someone, to be able to say to a waiter, oh, well, yes, I'm doing your cappuccino, but first I have to do this, to kind of prioritize things and keep people in the loop, and also just sort of realizing how much your mood can affect their mood. And so being really aware of that and trying to be like a kind, good human doing it. So waitressing, if that counts. Yeah, I mean, all of those things. People skills come with waitressing, prioritizing, and dealing with people who need things now. Which is like, they're hungry. They have a basic urge, and there's a lot of that also in show running. Balancing personalities. I mean, just original voices. When I saw Tiny Furniture, it blew my mind. There was a 23-year-old woman who had made this movie for nothing in her parents' house, casting her family and her best friend, and she just had such a clear voice. She knew exactly who she was, and that blew my mind. And so I'm really interested in people. They don't have to be that young, because she's like from space, but just people who have a really clear voice. I always felt that way also since I met Liz Merriweather. And when I read her first script, I was like, oh my God, this is like so fantastic. And it's, that's the kind of thing you just want, unique voices.